Who should Anthony Joshua fight next? So Eddie Hearn done an interview with Matchroom Boxing where he said that Anthony Joshua is ready to fight anybody and listed some opponents that could possibly be next for Anthony Joshua. So today we're going to talk about the opponents that were named, go through the fights, talk about how likely they are to happen and who I think would win. So starting off with the first name is Alexander Usyk. Now Usyk is coming off a split decision win against Tyson Fury for the undisputed heavyweight title. This fight won't happen and can happen next because Alexander Usyk has a rematch clause with Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury has already activated that rematch clause. So that fight is more than likely going to take place in around October, November time. So yeah, that fight just cannot happen for Anthony Joshua next. Next up, you've got Tyson Fury. Sorry, back to the Alexander Usyk point. AJ has already fought Usyk twice. He's lost twice. Now, yes, AJ has looked a bit more back to himself and he's got a new trainer training under Ben Davidson. He looks like he's got that killer instinct back. But I just think Alexander Usyk is just levels above Anthony Joshua. And I just feel like Alexander Usyk would more than likely do the same thing to AJ like he had done in the past two fights. Next up, Tyson Fury. Like I said about the Alexander Usyk one, Tyson Fury is coming off a split decision loss against Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight title. He has already activated his rematch clause, so that fight will not and cannot happen next. Now, in terms of who I think would win this matchup, after Fury fought Ngannou and then seeing AJ fight Ngannou, I was nearly certain that Anthony Joshua would KO Tyson Fury. But after seeing how good Fury looked against Alexander Usyk in there, I don't know. I feel like it would be a really, really competitive fight. But in my opinion, I feel like Tyson Fury would be able to get the job done over Anthony Joshua. I feel like Tyson Fury does move a lot better. And I feel like Tyson Fury will be able to more than likely take the punishment that AJ would be able to dish out to him. And AJ kind of seems to start off really well and kind of have a wee dip in the mid stages of the fight. And I feel like Tyson Fury would really be able to capitalize on that dip that AJ takes. And I feel like Tyson Fury could finish Anthony Joshua. Next up, you've got Filip Hrgovic. Now, we're going to go over Filip Hrgovic and Daniel Dubois just together. So they are fighting on the 5v5, which is a sick concept, by the way. Turki Al-Sheikh has really saved the sport of boxing single-handedly. Now, this fight is a heavyweight fight, and it is more than likely going to be for the vacant IBF title, I feel like. Now, that belt was on the line in the undisputed fight. Obviously, that needed to be on the line for Usyk to become undisputed or Tyson Fury. But they have given a lot of exemptions for these fights to go ahead, for unification fights, undisputed fights, etc. And I don't feel like they're going to give Usyk another exemption. So what more than likely is going to happen is that belt is going to free up and might end up being on the line in the Filip Hrgovic Daniel Dubois fight, because Filip Hrgovic has been basically mandatory for that belt for I think AJ had the belt and he was still mandatory, and he just still hasn't been able to get that fight over the line. Now, in terms of who I think is going to win out of Filip Hrgovic and Daniel Dubois, I feel like Filip Hrgovic is a really underrated heavyweight, and I feel like next week in the 5v5, I feel like Hrgovic will do a good job of being able to stay safe definitely in the earlier rounds against Daniel Dubois, because Dubois definitely carries a lot of power. We've seen him. He is definitely one of the heaviest hitters currently in the heavyweight division. But I feel like Hrgovic will do a good job of staying in there and will more than likely be able to drown Daniel Dubois in this fight. We've seen Dubois give up or take a knee quite a lot throughout his career, if we're being honest. And I feel like Hrgovic is just that level above Daniel. And I feel like Hrgovic will get a late stoppage in and around the 9th or 10th round. That is what I'm predicting. So then that would mean Hrgovic would then move on to fight AJ. Now, I feel like whoever wins this fight in the 5v5, this is more than likely going to be what happens. Is going to be who AJ fights next in September at Wembley, which is the rumour. Especially if that belt is on the line. Anthony Joshua wants to become a 3-time heavyweight champion. This is his route to do so. I feel like AJ beats both guys, to be honest. I feel like Hrgovic definitely does give him a tougher fight. I just feel like he's a better boxer than Daniel Dubois. However, Daniel does offer AJ some problems as well with being such a heavy hitter. But in my opinion, Anthony Joshua, I feel like he might end up going to a decision with Hrgovic or a late stoppage, but I feel like Anthony Joshua would stop Daniel Dubois in and around the 4th or 5th round. That's just my opinion. I feel like Hrgovic is a level above Daniel, and I feel like AJ is just that level above Hrgovic, but Daniel does have that big equalizer in the power that he possesses. But yeah, that is more than likely going to be the fight. If those two guys fight for that vacant belt, I feel like whoever wins that will fight AJ next. Then another one, which I think would be a great rematch to see. Obviously, their first fight was boring, to be honest. But Joseph Parker has kind of reinvigorated his career under Andy Lee. We just seen him. He's honestly on a crazy streak. He just beat Deontay Wilder, and he just beat Zhilei Zhang to become the interim. Is it IBO? An interim champion in some capacity anyway. So yeah, Joseph Parker has kind of found himself again, a new lease of life in his career. This would be a really fun matchup to see. Now, Joseph Parker isn't the heaviest hitter in the heavyweight division, and I feel like that would play a big factor in fighting someone like Anthony Joshua, because I feel like you'd have to earn AJ's respect and you'd have to have the ability to hurt him. Not saying Joseph Parker can't, I'm just saying he's not the hardest puncher in the heavyweight division, and we've seen this fight before. The fight was very boring, a lot of clinching, etc. went on in that fight. But yeah, Joseph Parker is a very slick boxer. But again, I just feel like AJ is much bigger than him, much more powerful than him. I don't know why I'm shrugging my shoulders. And I feel like it would be the same result. I feel like it would be a less boring fight because of who each guy has as their trainer now. But yeah, I feel like Anthony Joshua would beat Joseph Parker. But I feel like it would be a really, really competitive fight this time round. I feel like AJ would either get a late stoppage, but more than likely, I think AJ would get the win over Joseph Parker by decision. And finally, the last one on this list here is Deontay Wilder. Now, Deontay Wilder is the headline of the 5v5 card against Zhilei Zhang. I don't know why he's not on this list. Obviously, Wilder is the captain of Team Matchroom, so Eddie Hearn's probably thinking that Wilder is going to win anyway. I really wanted to see this fight for years, but in my opinion, this fight has the ship has sailed, especially after he lost to Joseph Parker. Now, if Wilder can go out there and stop Zhilei Zhang in like 2-3 rounds and really a devastating knockout, then maybe. But I just feel like the ship has kind of sailed on this fight. Unfortunately, it is a fight that I really wish we got to see, but I feel like the time has just passed now. And what we've seen from Deontay Wilder recently, I feel like Anthony Joshua would be able to stop him. Now, obviously, Wilder does have that equalizer. And Anthony Joshua, I don't think his chin is that bad, but it is kind of suspect. I mean, we have seen him rocked multiple times. But yeah, I feel like Anthony Joshua, from what we've seen at Wilder at the minute, would beat him. So yeah, those are the matchups that could be next for Anthony Joshua. Let me know who you want to see AJ fight next. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.